Okay, or hey everybody, welcome to the third episode of the Wooden Cubes and Iron Soldiers webcast. This must be our 21st or so total podcast between the two of us. I'm here with my friend Lance Mikester. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Joel Edie, is it? Joel Edie? Edie?
I got your name right, jerk.
We got anybody tuned in here? You're the master. Do we got
Oh,
anybody?
there's a couple of people tuned in. I was just about to post, "Hey, we're live" to Twitter and the universe, but there's a few
Cool.
folks on here already. Let's see. I don't know if I can see their names and stuff though. That's not usually how that works.
Oh,
It
really?
just says like there's three watching now or four. Four
I
watching
thought.
now.
Well, hey, ask one of those people to post a question, quick.
Yeah. Are you here? Are you alive? Are you watching? If you are, let us know. Usually it takes a few minutes for people to trickle on.
Gotcha. Well, anyway, tabletop day.
Yes, sir.
Yay!
Hooray, tabletop day.
So, my tabletop day was at my local game store, Paradox Comics and Cards. I ran a couple of tables teaching board games to people. It was pretty awesome. We got into a lot of stuff. I played Kingsburg for the first time in well over a year, which I
Nice.
enjoyed. Then played a few games of Machikoro, and
Oh, so did I.
I saw you just posted a review of that actually.
I did.
Your quick little slam bang 7-minute review, not very in depth, but way to go. Anyway.
Oh, whatever. It was 11 minutes. It was 11, first of all.
No.
Second of all, it's Machikoro, so don't talk about in depth.
Yeah, is it true that that's supposedly like one of like the biggest games in Japan right now, or something? I heard.
Yeah, I like the game. I don't quite understand the level of love on it. Like, I've read a couple of reviews and stuff since I posted it, and, I'm like, what? How is this? It's really cool. I think it needs an expansion. It's very deceptively cool because, like, I don't know, halfway through my first game, I was like, what is this mess? And then, but like by the end of that first play, I was like, okay, this is actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
Um,
I seem to think that, like, I don't know. I played it a few times, and both times I won. I won just by getting a lot of whatever that number 9 is. So when somebody else rolls a 9, you get 5 coins for each one. I think it's like
Yeah.
a mountain or something. I don't know. I forget what the name is.
it's a restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just, I mean, that just seemed like, well, 9's fairly common, and it's like, it seemed like somebody was always rolling 9. They let me get 3 of them in both games, and so anytime somebody rolled a 9, it was like 15 coins. Then by the time it rolled over to me, I had enough to buy
Uh-huh.
something else. So maybe that was just a situation where people didn't know what to stop me from getting, kind of thing, than anything else. So
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely saw that in our games. I think it was the first game we played, and somebody grabbed all the 10s, so like the orchards or something. And I wasn't even, into it because I was actually doing really well in that game. I think I got 3 buildings and he had none or something, or just the one that lets you roll doubles.
yeah.
And then he just like racked up the orchards. He got like 22 coins in one turn. And then I was like, uh-oh. and then he just smoked me.
Well, I do find it is interesting in that game is like people think that you have to ramp up on the 4 buildings you have to build to win. Like you start
Right.
with the weak ones, you can get 2 dice, and then you move on. And I like both times I won, I didn't even build that small one until
Hmm.
way into the game. I mean, I just let it sit there. I was fine with rolling 1 die, and I just let other people roll the dice for me and get the stuff. Get out of here, cat. Just no, yeah, I mean, it's cute. It's cute for what it is, and I think what that game is, that's like the ultimate like take it with you anywhere game, because all you need is dice and a deck of cards, and it's interesting enough to keep people's interest, I suppose. That was
Yeah.
a dumb sentence. Interesting enough to keep people's interest. I played some Russian Railroads while I was there.
Good.
I've now played that game. I might have played that game into the ground. I don't know, but
Mhm.
that's just my rough feeling on it. That's something I'm going to talk about later here in just a little bit.
Sure.
Let's see what else. I played a game of Eldritch Horror, which we got destroyed at, which
Mhm.
is always fun. Um, And then once again, I proved to myself that you need to play that game with 4 and 4 only, because we even played with 5, and it was bogging down too much, like too much downtime before it was your turn, and people were like losing interest, and probably had something to do with the atmosphere too, because people weren't like, when I play that game, I want people to kind of get into it and like use a voice for their character or read the thing with a nefarious statement or whatever, and people were just picking up the card and they're like, blah 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 blah, I gotta test lore, and I was just like, no, you gotta read it out loud, tell me what's going on if like the deep one is like doing something or whatever.
Right.
But that was the mentality they were having, so it probably wasn't the best group to play with either, because
that's no fun. We kind of have a sort of an unwritten rule. If this guy Jonathan plays with us, we're like, okay, give the card to Jonathan, let him read it, because he likes to horse around with read it and stuff. But I totally get what you're saying there. You gotta, because I do have the tendency to do that, especially if it gets later in the night, or something, and we're like trying to play it, and I'm like, oh, we gotta, Billy's got to go in an hour, or not an hour, but 20 minutes, so let's rush it.
Well, and the point of that game, in my opinion, isn't even really to win. It's just to kind of have the experience of playing the game and have it tell you a story. So if you're not reading the flavor text or whatever, or not getting into it, then you're not playing it right, technically, I guess, is my opinion.
Agree.
Let me see here. God, I played like probably 15 different games, and I'm just drawing a blank on most of them. My daughter showed up for a few hours, which was really cool. So we got some other kids to play like Three Little Pigs, and we played Clack. We played we played Igloo Pop, and so Rylan got to teach like other little kids her favorite like adult games, I guess, technically, games that aren't. So that was kind of cool that she got to teach other kids about.
That's fun. Yeah.
About those things, yeah. And so then I kind of supervised that for a while, and that was kind of cool that other people had brought children of that age. I played lots of King of Tokyo, and this is also something that's leading into something else. I probably played the most infuriating game of King of Tokyo that I've ever played in my entire life, because. Okay, and this is, and I'm totally stepping on toes because you haven't talked about your tabletop day. So if you want to talk about your tabletop day, go ahead, and then I can go into my like rant here that I was going to complain about.
Okay, sure, yeah, because I want to hear this. Let's see, we played Machikoro, and that was fun. We already talked about that. Played Game of Thrones, which was a lot of fun. So everybody's first game except for me.
Who were you? Which
I was the the Pikes. What's their name? They're on the ocean. They hate the Starks because the Starks betrayed them in the battle.
I'm gonna hang up on you pretty soon if you don't say who it is here.
It's the I have to get the box number. They're black. I don't remember the name. Greyjoys. That's it. Greyjoy. Sorry. And I hadn't actually played them before. Pretty interesting kind of thing. I ended up losing. I was kind of in contention. Everybody was in contention, despite some people's whining in the last 2 rounds. They were still in contention. But the green guys, the Martells, or not the Martells, the Tyrells, they're green, right?
Yep.
Yeah. The Tyrells, they ninja'd it in the 10th round. They got the 7th castle or whatever, and just based on initiative, they had collected so much money, they just bid for turn order, and they took an easy target and had all their cards back, but it was good. It was a fun game. It only took us about 3 hours.
That's not bad.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more with teaching and stuff, but yeah.
Did you have a full complement of 6 players then, or?
No, just 5.
Okay, so you didn't have. That's why Tyrell won, because they didn't have anybody to the south of them to mess with.
Right, and then about halfway through the game, Baratheon took the initiative to go down there, and I promised Lannister, I'm like, just go south a little bit. There's a nice thing there. I'm just going to move in here off my island, and please let me just have this, because there's those 2 tasty little fortresses right there.
Yep.
And they're like, no, they had to attack me, and I beat them back like 3 times in a row, because my combat cards are sick.
Yeah.
And anyway, they didn't want to listen. So, but it was not a foregone conclusion that the Tyrells were going to win. We kind of caught that, and then but they ended up did winning anyway. But it was fun. It was good.
It was good stuff. Yeah, I like the game's good. You can only play it like it's one of those games that you can only play like once or twice a year, maybe. It's one of those. It's an investment game, if you will.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just recently started playing it, so I'm kind of haven't got to that point yet, but I could see
Oh,
that.
fair enough.
Um,
Let me see. What else did you play?
let's see. I played let's see, Game of Thrones, Machikoro. I played Agricola, Creatures Big and Small with some of the expansion buildings. That was fun.
I've never played that. Is that any good?
I don't have Agricola anymore. Between that one and Caverna, it's like, why have Agricola? If I want the farm theme, I'll play Creatures Big and Small in a half an hour.
Hmm.
You know, it's fun. It's cool. I think you got to have the expansions though, because they give you these just ton of buildings, and you just kind of randomly pull 4 of them, or you can do 8 if you have both expansions, and it just gives you like these little special abilities that you can, tinker with. Because the game's pretty straightforward. It's a 2-player worker placement game that takes half hours, like easy, and you have the buildings that makes it a lot more fun.
I keep seeing it and I keep thinking about picking it up and I just haven't yet. So
Maybe try it. Play it with your wife. Maybe if she's get into that, or your daughter. Your daughter could play it. I mean, just take out the expansion buildings because they're kind of special ability style and.
well, we've been playing. My daughter and I played Ark and Noah here a couple of times, and that's kind of a really low tech, if you will, worker placement game. It isn't really all that tricky, so maybe I'll pick that one up too. And
Yeah.
that one's just fun because she likes putting the animals on the ark and stuff like that. And
Oh, okay. I
so
think I know that game.
yeah, it was like a kind of an Essen release, but now Golden Egg Games, that guy who did City of Perez and City Council, and now he's publishing like Italian games that like don't have they distribute them at least or whatever here in America.
Right.
So
Right.
Alad, that's his name.
Yes.
Alad Goldstein.
Yes.
But yeah, so well, if you're done, then I'm going to talk about. Oh, okay, go ahead.
No, we played that. You know what we played? We played Clash of Cultures. That was fun. And
I gotta play that. I gotta play that again. I haven't played that in probably 9 months.
yeah, and I think it'd been about not quite that long for me, and we totally biffed a rule and had to like restart the game. It was kind of funny.
Nice.
That was good, and unfortunately we had to cut that one round short because they were closing the shop. But it was still fun. And then we played Coconuts. That was the other game I was trying to talk about. Have you seen this Coconuts game?
Never even heard of it.
Oh, man. Well, you know how I hate Pooh, the card game?
Yes.
Okay. Which is about monkeys flinging poo at each other. Well, this game is a dexterity game, and it has monkeys that sit like this. I don't know, let me just look at my camera. You sit like this, and they face backwards, and then they fling. Like you push them like a catapult, like in crossbows and catapults.
Okay.
And you get these coconuts that look like these little turds.
Nice.
And you fling them and flick it, and then they go into these cups, and you try to build like a little pyramid of cups. You can steal cups from other players. If you fling and hit their cup, you bring it over to your side. And it's just simple, and it's pretty fun. It's awesome, actually. And you can get these little cards to play on people. Like you can play a card to make you like fling it from further back, or you have to do it with your eyes closed, and just crazy stuff like that. We played that a few times. I played that the other day too, and I think Mayday did a Kickstarter for it, and I should have grabbed it because it was only like $30, basically to import this. I think it's Korean. I think it's a Korean game, kind of like the Click Clack Lumberjack, and those guys.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah, and but they're totally flinging poo. I mean, I'm like, hey, it's Pooh the board game.
Nice. So like, it sounds like a drinking game, is what it sounds like.
Oh, you could totally do a drinking game out of it. If
Nice.
you can get your hands on a copy of it, I mean,
I've never even heard of it.
yeah, it's awesome.
It's just like the word coconuts.
Coconuts. That's the name of it. I'm sure that it may even be somewhat available. Let's look it up.
I'm already way ahead of you here. You can pre-order it at Cool Stuff, it looks like.
You can
if it's the
pre-order
same
everything
game.
and cool stuff,
Yep,
even
that's
if
what
you're
it
never going to
is.
get it in. Let's see. Ryan Metzler reviewed it. Tom Bassler reviewed it. So there's some videos on it if
Of
you want to
course they did.
watch. Yeah, curse them and their tons of review copies.
Yes. Curse you!
Yeah. So, but it's fun. I would recommend it. It's you know, it's just it is what it is. But
Well, there's lots of people selling their copies at outlandish prices on Board Game Geek. So
tell me about it.
you know that whole I gotta have it now kind of thing.
Yeah, I would. I'm not paying any for that.
It's supposed to be released in April or May of 2014.
Hmm.
So that's not so bad, right?
Yeah, maybe I'll pick it up. We tend to like the dexterity games. Like we have like 4 or 5 copies of that. What's the airplane game? Loop and Louie floating around the group. So we're always playing stuff like that.
Yeah, I love the Loop and Louie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun game. So, well, okay. Well,
So, King of Tokyo.
King of Tokyo. Well, and this is going to be fairly long, so I apologize in preparation.
Oh.
And I'm not going to mention any names. Not that I think that the people might in question would
Let me pull up the
hear
chair.
what I have to say. Yeah. But okay, and this kind of goes to I have a lot of like belief in the unwritten rule. Are people even listening? Are we just talking to each other at this point? Are you?
Oh yeah, there's just checked. There's about there was 15 people online. Now there's 13. I think they heard King of Tokyo, and 2 of them were like, "I'm out."
Okay, well no. So I'm not gonna mention names because these people I actually see on a fairly regular basis. But okay, so we sit down and we start playing. Hey, you just blanked out on me. You still there? That's
Yeah,
weird.
I'm here.
All right, maybe it's just.
Yeah, my camera's showing off.
What's wrong with your camera?
Oh, there it is. I'm back.
Okay, there you go.
See me
Very
now?
good. Yeah, I see you now.
Okay.
Okay, so there are people that people play games a certain way and they play games another way, and like I'm just gonna like I was referring to Russian Railroads earlier. So I've played Russian Railroads probably 10 times, a dozen times at this point, and it's just I really this kind of goes towards my thought process on playing games. At a certain point, like a strategy game like Russian Railroads, you kind of lose any mystery about the game. I mean, you just kind of know how the flow of the game is going to work. It's like, and the strategies become really apparent. And a lot of people really like that point of the game. They like that enjoyment where, it's like, oh, okay, well now I can try to better what I did the last time, or I can try to improve upon what I've done in the past. At that point, the game kind of gets boring for me. It's just like, okay, well I've been here, I've done this, and I like the exposition of the game, like kind of like the whole like, oh, okay, I'm presenting you these cool little intriguing problems and things like that that are going on, and that's what I enjoy. And so Russian Railroads is kind of reached that point for me, and it's just like, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to do industry this turn? Am I going to like try to win with the second one or what have you? I think you cut out on me again there, guy.
Right.
What's wrong with your stuff? Fix your stuff.
I don't know.
Hit it.
Weird,
indeed.
Well,
that's fine.
Keep talking.
I will. So anyway, so that leads into this process. I was playing Kingsburg, and there's this gentleman that I play a lot of games with, and he is a dear friend of mine. I enjoy him. I enjoy his wife a great deal. They're good people. But he is he's the guy that'll play a game with me, and then I'll beat him. Mm-hmm. And then he'll go home and he'll read every strategy article about that game over the course of the next 2 weeks before I see him again. And then when we meet again, he'll trounce me by like 70 points. And he'll say, oh, yeah, I read up on all these different things and all these different reviews and on how to handle each one of these different situations and how to process all this, and that's how I won, And I'm like, okay, And it's just kind of like, but that's the way he enjoys it. I mean, that he enjoys like squeezing every little tiny bit of like points that he can out of a game or like defeating him. And so like when he was playing Kingsburg, it's like here's a game I hadn't played in literally, like I said, a year or more. And like he said that's like one of his favorite games, and he was like really kind of annoyed that like he ended up winning, but only because he had more buildings than I did. He and I tied for points at the end, and then he was like, the only reason like it was that close, he said, was because I didn't get good dice rolls, and I was just like, well, whatever, just like it was fun. I had fun, trying not to ruin it. So we go over and we were sitting there and we were playing King of Tokyo. And as we're playing King of Tokyo, and we're playing with way too many people. I mean, we're playing. I know it can handle like up to 8 or whatever, and like with the expansions, you can have even more people. And so I went into it and I was like, okay, let's just have fun playing King of Tokyo. I'll roll these dice, and I'll play my, and we're playing with the expansions. We're playing with both the Halloween expansion and the Power Up expansion. Which really, if you're going to play, you have to play with the Power Up expansion. I mean, you can't play that game without that. And so we're playing it and we're having a good time. Right. But it's like, this same gentleman was using like he was basically telling everybody else. It's like, oh, he's in Tokyo. You got to get him. Just like, but he had no interest in going up there because he knew and I knew that with this few people or this many people, like going up there was kind of pointless. What you wanted to do was, because it was never gonna get all the way around to the person because so they could actually roll and do damage to everyone. That just wasn't going to happen. So what he was doing was he was just rolling for points every turn. That's all he was doing, rolling for points and rolling for energy so he can get abilities and what have you. And like he was re-rolling all of his claws, and he and so then and it was just like, and at one point finally like I was just getting annoyed because he was doing this whole like just gaming the game, like trying to convince everybody else to attack the person in the middle, but not doing it himself. And then so finally I just attacked and I went into Tokyo Bay and I just took a bunch of damage and I died. I just didn't care because I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to. And I left. And then a buddy of mine came back over and he was like, oh, and I was going to start Russian Railroads and he was going to play, and he was just like, he said, I've never played a more simple dice game where somebody started rules lawyering me. It's like, and it's one of those things where I don't mind wanting to win. I don't mind people like having the mentality of like, I don't like that old quote that's like, oh, the object of the game is to win, but it is the object and not the winning that's important. I don't really I don't like that quote because people use it all the time. But I don't even care, and I've said this to so many people, I don't care if I win or lose when I play a game. I don't. I just want to have fun. But when I have to play and I have to, like, I don't know, deal with, people that can't have fun unless they win, it just detracts so much from my enjoyment of sitting down to play the board game. And it stinks because this guy's like a really nice guy and I really like him and I love hanging out with him and I love talking to him, but it's just, and I realize now that it's I don't know, I think it's one of those things where and I guess if I truly didn't care if I won or lost, then maybe I shouldn't care, what goes on with this person. But
it brings the experience down. There's been a rare occasion like that where I play with somebody and they're just really, overbearing, I guess, with their gamesmanship in a game that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And, I understand what you're saying 100%.
Yeah, and so and I ended up, and it's just, and then I guess it was. What do you think? I mean, like you've played games out. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Where you get to the point where, if you're talking about where you played a game and you've just like overplayed it, and you're not really learning anything new. You're just kind of minning and maxing. Yeah, I mean, I like when I get to a point with that game in some ways. That's kind of where a game kind of either stays on the shelf or leaves. It's like, okay, I've gotten to that point with the game. Is it still fun for me to play it out that way? Like one I played a ton of so far is Trains. I'm just looking in my camera, looking back. I'm like, oh yeah, I played a lot of Trains. But that one's still fun for me. Now, I am at the point, and I think everybody, at least like the family is, I don't know about my group because I'm not sure how much they've played it. One other guy has a copy, I think, maybe 2 people. I don't know if they played it so much, but in my family and I definitely are like at the point where it's like, okay, when is this expansion coming out? Because we still really like it, but it's kind of like now it sort of slides, in favor of other things. Uh, so yeah, but I get to the point where now I'm just like efficiency, like out the gate. I'm like, where am I putting my cube to start the game? I'm analyzing that. I'm doing the whole Dominion thing in some ways, where I'm like analyzing the group of cards and going, here's my strategy. Boom, go, draw. Extend. I'm not really learning and feeling what the cards are doing, and because I feel like we played definitely not all the combos, but it kind of just feels that way. But it's fun enough and quick enough that it stays on the shelf. And I know there's going to be expansions. Like if they came and said, "Oh, there's never going to be a trains expansion," I bet you that thing goes off my shelf by the end of the year. It just depends, though. I mean, like certain games you have to like. I think you got to put on your shelf and then take it off your shelf later. Like I haven't played Kalis in probably 8 months, maybe.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, well, it's not. There's not a reason because I've played it like 50 times or more, and over the last 10 years or whatever it is, and it's just like you can only, but it's still one. Like I think about it all the time. I usually break it out like once a year or so, and you just kind of have to like let it fade from your memory, and then if you like a month or 2 months go by, then like it comes back. Ooh, I remember how fun that was. That's kind of how it is for me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and it's just, but and I'm probably reading too much into it, but it was just one of those things where it's like, I guess I've come to the realization I'm way too laid back of a gamer. I could never be a tournament game player of anything. I don't think, because I'm not cutthroat enough, I guess, in a way. And I just don't care enough, I guess, if I win or lose. And the thing is that I think also this kind of ties into the fact of why I appreciate probably the Ameritrash type games more than I do the Euros, is because of the fact that they are random and chaotic, and it's just, yeah, okay, fine, you can read whatever strategy article you want, but it ain't gonna matter diddly squat if you don't roll the right dice, and it's just, so. I think that kind of inherently goes hand in hand for me, I guess, in a way. So, and I'm sorry for those of you who are expecting a big giant terrorizing rant or anything like from me. I wasn't. I mean, if it had been a complete stranger, I probably would have been dropping f-bombs during this conversation because I mean, like I said, he's a dear friend of mine. He was just on 11, and he was just I don't know what his deal was. He was just he was not. He was not there to have fun. I think he was just there to try to like impress people with how well he was playing or something. I have no idea what the deal was there. So, but you know what? To each their own, I guess, if you will. But yeah. Other than that, hey, are we gonna actually talk wrestling? Did you see WrestleMania? Did you see?
I saw a picture of some crazy what was it, like battle royale with 3 rings or something? Was that a real thing?
I have no idea, but I guess like the big thing, the big thing is, and if anybody, if the one wrestling guy, Undertaker finally lost at a WrestleMania.
Don't encourage it. I think that's Stewart. Don't encourage him, please.
No. So that's actually big news, as far as because he was like whatever 21-0 or something at.
Oh, I don't know.
At WrestleManias, and Brock Lesnar got the pin. He put him down on the mat, gave him the F5 or whatever his finishing move is, and covered him for the hey, you're back. I can see you again.
Good for him. Have you not been seeing me?
No, I just finally can see you now.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Well, who cares?
Oh, yeah.
You're not that good looking anyway. No, so that was the big deal, and then they actually I guess like the big thing right now is like the I read actually I'm gonna cut away. I'm actually talk about wrestling because I think you'd enjoy this book. Search for it on Amazon or something like that. If you got Prime, you can get it sent to you or whatever. It's cheap. It's like $14, but it's just a book called Life, Death, and Professional Wrestling. And no, it's like you think, okay, what is this? And it started off this guy that like he's a sports writer, but he actually covers wrestling. Like, he's a serious sports writer, but he covers wrestling as well.
Hmm.
And he said he started to write the book. His plan was to write the book on all the dead wrestlers, like all the wrestlers who died young, or died, whether it was drugs or an accident or whatever. And that was his plan. And then it kind of then metamorphosized and changed, and it became kind of just a history about wrestling. And it talks about the very beginnings of professional wrestling and how it got started, and the process of like smart fans, or the smarks as they're known, because instead of being like a person who buys into all the crap. Because I remember the day that wrestling became unreal for me. I think I might have told you the story before, but I remember like I saw Hogan getting beat up by like King Kong Bundy and all of his compatriots or whatever, and I remember they had to call in the ambulance to have him taken away or whatever, and I was just like, oh my God, he's not gonna be able to wrestle at WrestleMania, just like and my dad said he's probably drinking a beer in the back of that ambulance right now, and I was like, what? But he got hurt, earthquake smashed him, and then so that was when I realized that wrestling wasn't real or whatever. But so he talks about like how recently, like I read an article by this guy since then, and he talked about how like wrestling is now just kind of flaunting their fakeness. They're not even caring anymore. They're like there's been a recent like angle of Triple H, who is married to the boss's daughter or whatever in real life. They actually reference that, and like he's like referencing like during his promos or whatever, he's like, you honestly think I would book you to win over me or something like that, and he's just saying things like that, and like, so it's kind of interesting how wrestling has kind of just abandoned the whole facade, if you will, and they're just saying, yeah, okay, this is completely fake, and we're just totally acknowledging it, and we're just gonna roll with it. So I actually, I'm not interested enough to actually start watching it again, because I just don't have the time. I can't. But I have considered honestly. Actually paying to get the WWE Network, at least for a few months, just because I guess at that WWE Network you can watch any pay-per-view ever from in both WCW, since they own WCW now, and anything from ECW, because they own that, and anything from WWF. So like if you wanted to go back and watch WrestleMania 1, you could watch WrestleMania 1.
That would be pretty sweet. That would be something else,
So I've
1, 2, 3, and 4. I mean, that's where you got me there. I'd watch those over and over again.
WrestleMania 3 has the two signature moments. It has probably the best match of all time between Randy Macho Man Savage and Jimmy Snuka. Yeah. And they have I think that's the one where Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant. And that was huge. that was amazing. So every once in a while I think, okay, so how much is it? It's like for 3 months, it's like $25. Okay, well I could swing that. Just watch. I mean, I recently, I'm totally flying off the handle here, but I am so far behind on my technology. I recently got a Chromecast for my TV.
Nice. Those are very nice.
Yeah, I didn't even know this thing existed. I mean, because I have a PlayStation, so I always use that for my streaming or whatever. But I mean, being able to like watch YouTube videos right on your TV and like in crystal clear, or my HBO Go and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty sweet. You use your tablet as your as your what's I'm looking for? Like as basically your remote or something. Yeah, I mean, wow. Does Google just know how to do everything on the cheap?
I don't know. Yeah, it's like $35 for the thing. That's crazy. Yeah, I know. It's it's pretty amazing. I don't have one myself. I just need to pick one up. But my brother's got one, and my mom's got one, and they love it to death. And I just got to pick one up.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's like if I didn't have a PS4, and a PS3 for that matter. I probably would have had one a long time ago. I mean, just because of the fact that it's like, well, how else are you going to stream your video? I mean, because I know
Mhm.
that you can get smart TVs that have Netflix and stuff on them, but I mean, for what we had one with that, and it's garbage. It just doesn't work as well.
Yeah.
Because the Wi-Fi and stuff on them just isn't really good. But man, I mean, it's just like, yeah, and of course it's Google, so there's nothing really to set up. It's just like, yeah, plug it into your TV, turn it on,
Hmm.
and then it basically like walks you through the entire process. Just like, and then touch this and touch that, go over to your tablet, touch this, touch that, and you're done. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You're ready to roll. So there you go, Google, some free advertising for you.
Yeah. On Google, we're on Google. We should
Yeah,
get
we
some
are
more
on
of that.
Google. Technically, Google pays me money every month or whatever
Yeah.
for my ads. Hey, you switched over to that different thing or whatever, the partnership deal. Is that working out for you or?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. You know, hey, let's do something real quick. There are some questions that are happening,
Oh, what the
and
heck with them?
I want.
Well, no, I actually tweeted here. This is something I tweeted and asked for questions, and I got one question, which I'm very
Oh.
upset with my followers. How did I only get one out of 1,000 people? I guess but whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
My one question was Matt Ridlin of Fleet fame asked me
Oh.
if I had a choice between either shaving my head and my beard or no gaming for 2 years. So, first of all, I would never allow myself to be put into a situation where that question had to be asked of me. Um, you know, uh, he didn't specify what gaming, so I guess I'd just give up computer gaming for 2 years. And
Yeah.
then,
Loophole.
no, I obviously would probably. I mean, my hair's going away so bad. Like it's like every time I shower, I watch more of it go down the drain.
Hmm.
So I mean, eventually I'm gonna have to just cut the long hair anyway. I'm holding on to it with dear life, with both hands. My wife is swearing that if it gets much worse, she's just gonna shave my head while I sleep. But man, I seriously have not had a beard for probably close to 20 years now. So I have no idea what's behind this anymore.
Hmm.
Who knows? I can't shave the beard. I don't think I ever can. I mean, I'll trim it up. I'll do that, but I can't get rid of it, man. I can't. Plus I got a big baby face, so I would look like I was 12, and
Hmm.
so yeah, I give up the computer gaming. But if you're gonna take away my board games, I probably would end up shaving my head and my beard, though. Yeah. So
Cool.
there you go, Matt.
Hey, let's do something real quick. So, everybody that's watching or listening, give me just like a 2-minute break here. Lance, if you look at your screen, and I meant to do this before, but we were kind of both rushing to the end. And if you move your mouse around, you have the icons that show up on the left.
Yes.
And then, do you see like a red toolbox, like
Like,
pointing towards
and it's got a little green Google Hangout toolbox or whatever.
Hangout toolbox?
It says Hangout toolbox on it.
Yeah, click that sucker.
I don't see that.
Oh. And then would you see the three dots?
All right, I clicked on it. Now what?
All right. Do you see now on the right some stuff should pop up, right? And there's a
Well, no, I got this thing. Hangout toolbox needs my permission to start or whatever.
yeah,
I gotta
you gotta do
accept
that.
this. Am I giving away money at this point?
No,
Or
no, no. It's just gonna help people watch. I never
oh,
noticed it until I went back and watched one of our other ones, and I was like, oh, I never talked to Lance about this, and I keep forgetting to, and then you know.
okay. I got some stuff over to my right. Now what do I do?
All right. Do you have the little person selected?
Like the
There's
little smiley face or something?
no, the one all the way to the left, like the little silhouette of a person.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
And then underneath that it says lower third.
Lower third, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, turn that on. It's probably off.
Okay, it's on now. Now
Oh,
what?
okay, there we go. See how it shows your name now?
Oh, neat.
Yeah. And then
Oh,
I
can I
think,
put anything I want in here? Okay. I'll just put.
yeah, you gotta like save it. I'll let you figure that stuff out. But now people will be able to like see us both at the same time, I think, on the on YouTube. Because like other Hangouts I've seen, it's like they have like the little like talking heads or whatever underneath the bottom. I don't know if it'll work, but maybe you have to start with it like that. But anyway, sorry, folks. I just wanted to get like before I forgot because I always forget to mention it.
Oh well, gee, that'll make for some gripping. Whatever it is. I don't know what I'm looking here. Choose
Yeah.
preset title. What do you? This stupid thing. I don't know when you want to do this.
All right.
See, I
Anyway,
hate technology.
I know.
I'm such an analog person. It's just that's why I think I like board games so much. That's why I like the Google Chromecast was so nice. It was just so straightforward. I didn't have to do anything crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm an idiot. I don't. It's not working quite right. But anyway, so questions. Let's. Now that I've ruined everybody's time for the last 2 minutes, we'll go through the questions that have been showing up. So the first question, you can take a nap. But have we played any Iron Soldiers war games lately, Joel or Lance? I don't know why you asked Lance, but I'd say I played Game of Thrones, and then I played War of the Ring for the first time like 2 weeks ago or something, and that was a lot of fun. So there's my war game. I don't think I've played any other war games. Have you played War of the Ring, Lance? You've played War of the Ring.
Oh, I played War of the Ring. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sort of anxiously awaiting the new Battle of Five Armies.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
At least they're not pretending it's for more than two people. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. Apparently, it's based off of kind of an expansion for the first edition of War of the Ring, but they've kind of went back and retooled it. So, but I guess the guy
The
who played
Battles of the Third Age or whatever? Or?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like the rule set is kind of derived out of that.
I remember I had a copy of Battles of the Third Age, and somebody offered me a stupid amount of money for it. So I sold it.
Yeah, that's a fun game, though.
It's okay. I don't know. War of the Ring, it's really good, but I don't know. It's another one of those games, once you play it too many times, it's like, well, you pretty much have to go that way, and just kind of like,
Well, yeah, that's the one thing that's weird about it, and it's kind of interesting because it's kind of how the books go. It's like you have all this maneuvering and stuff with troops and everything, and at the end of the day, it's all like pointless, and it's really about Frodo and trying to corrupt him, or
yeah.
all that stuff, which
At
is
least,
cool, but it's kind of like I did all that work for nothing.
Yeah, at least with this one, maybe it'll be more about just the battles and what have you. So
yeah, maybe. I mean, that's got to be what it's about.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's supposedly Ares. I sent them and begged a copy of Galaxy Defenders out of them, and I just got an email this morning saying they're sending me a copy. So I said, yay!
Good job.
Yeah, so yay, free game.
That's a fun one. But I've been playing that too. That's kind of a war game, except it's co-op and not really a war game, but there's fighting.
All right, can we have a real question now about real games?
Oh, it's so harsh, man. I think I took the time out of this day to come and watch the show.
Oh, well, I appreciate the fact. I mean, you know what? I could see myself getting into war games. I seriously could. But it's just 1, 2-player, 2 solo. If I'm gonna be playing a 2-player game, I gotta find the right person. I don't know if any of my friends would be all that into like moving these little chits around.
You should try one of the coin games, like Ending Abyss or Cuba Libre or something, because those have a kind of a Game of Thrones feel to them. They really do.
If you say so.
They do. I'm telling you.
Okay, if you say so. And 2, it's like if I'm gonna be playing a solo game, I guess I'll bust out. Well, I should be honest. I do have a copy of Hunters, that new sub game, and I've been playing that every once in a while when I'm just bored, because it reminds me of playing my B-17 Flying Fortress, which I played. I played that game probably 40, 50 times just for fun. And some people will say, why don't you review it then? It's like, well, why? There's like 8,000 reviews, and plus you can't buy a copy. And why don't they make another copy of B-17? I realized they came out with that B-29, which was kind of like the spiritual successor to it, but you need to go back to the old B-17. That was just...
Well, there's so many games that I think have kind of taken that sort of formula, and like Phantom Leader, Thunderbolt Apache Leader, that new Hunters game. Some extent, some of the States of Siege games and stuff like that, they kind of refine that whole solitaire experience.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, I guess I don't know. That's the other thing I was going to talk about too. It's like reprinting games. So it's like I kind of got into a Mac Gertz kick recently, and so it's like I was like, oh, okay, I really liked Concordia, that was fun, and then I was like, oh, and I still have a copy of Antique, so I busted that out and played it, and I was just like, oh, it's like I had a copy of Navigador back in the day, but I traded it or something, and so I was like, well, I got to track that one down, so I tracked that one down. Then I was just like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, let's find a copy of like Hamburgum. Yeah, that was like nowhere in the wilds. It took me forever to track down a copy of Hamburgum. It just didn't exist anymore, I guess. Which, if you look, it's like one of the top-rated games on the Geek or whatever. Same thing for that Princes of Machu Picchu or whatever game.
Machu Picchu, yeah.
Yeah. It's like that one wasn't as well received as Hamburgum or whatever, but it's like, why do these games go out of print? I always wonder. It's like, is it just like I do know the reason why, but it's really annoying. I mean, it's like I realize that like, okay, we printed off 15,000 copies of this. Okay, so now we're waiting for it to sell out, and then if it gets down to 1,000 copies and it takes a year to sell out those last 1,000 copies, then people are like, well, there's no reason to reprint it at this point, and so you have to wait X number of years or whatever before like finally there's enough interest to like, okay, we can make a print run of 5,000 of this, so it actually is worth our while to do it, and then we can make some money off it. I get the actual reasons, but to be on the other side of the coin when you like desperately want a copy of it, and not like some used beat up copy that somebody else has had, it's really annoying when you can't find anywhere. Like Shipyard, I wanted to play Shipyard. Yeah, that game had just vanished off the face of the earth too.
Right.
I even went through the whole process of like, oh, here's some place that has it. Okay, buy it. 3 days later, we're sorry, we actually don't have it. It's like, you suck. Just like I was all happy that I found it somewhere and they weren't charging me $90 for it. I was like, all right, I'll get that. Oh no, we don't have it. We just never update our website. But
yeah, it would be cool if they could somehow get this print-on-demand stuff to the point where, they could say, oh, what game do you want? Okay, we'll click, feed it into the computer, and out comes the game with just the same quality of components and stuff like that. Here's your board and your cards. Somebody should kickstart that idea. Dang it!
We should do that. That could be our $1 million idea.
Yeah. Which game do you want? Okay. Give us 2 weeks. It'll be there.
I mean, of course, you have to get somebody to, Well, what's the thing? How to make $1 million? It was find something that people want, and get them to spend get 10,000 people to spend $1,000 on it.
Yeah.
And then you're a millionaire.
Right.
So it seems easy when you put it like that, but the trick is to find that one thing that somebody actually wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's annoying trying to. And then this is another thing I'm meaning to ask you about. So. Have you ever had a game that you want, and it's like in that quasi weird misty out of print status, that you're trying to, and you start you go to your normal hangouts, you go to your miniature markets, you go to your cool stuff, you go to your time well spent, game surplus, whatever. Maybe you even email a few people. Back in the day it might have been Boards and Bits. Of course they're gone now, but and then you email a few people and see if they can find it for you, and then you can't, and then so you start digging through auction sites and things like that, and digging through. So have you ever had to do that for anything? Something you're jonesing for?
Yeah, I have. I'm trying to think of the what was the last thing I did. I mean, but I had Andrew Tolson of Print and Play whip up a copy of Battlestar Galactica Express a while ago, and then also Dune.
Yeah.
With some of the expansion stuff, using some of the print and play files from, I don't know, there's 2 popular print and play, setups for that game. And when Rex was announced, I said, okay, I have no interest in this. Let me go find a copy of Dune. And I've never played it.
What a horrible game that was. Did you ever play Rex?
No, I don't, because I was waiting for Dune. I mean, I like Dune quite a bit. I've read the books 3 times each, at least the original ones, and I've watched the movie. Sometimes I'll throw on the soundtrack while I'm at work to the David Lynch movie and zone out while I'm writing code. And anyway, so I'm a Dune guy. I don't really care about the gameplay.
No, I want to sub-reference here just for a second about the Dune game and what have you.
Yeah.
Rex. Okay, so. And I realized to a certain degree that Fantasy Flight was kind of handcuffed a bit because they had the rights.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
They had the rights to the mechanics of the game, but they couldn't use the Dune name. I mean, it wasn't allowed just because of the Herbert estate and whatever, and those guys not being able to decide on anything. So,
right.
But. I mean, if you had a choice between either making that game or just saying no, they just should have said no. Because you can't make a game that, one, everybody's been waiting for that long, and then put a theme in it that nobody cares about. I mean, it's just like, and here inherently is a lot of the problems. Like, one of the things about FFG that, like, I think... Okay, they have this world that they have, this Terranoth world that they had Runebound based in it, Rune Wars is based in it. They put I can't think of the name of the game though, with the dragon in the middle, the dungeon game. I can't think of the name right now. It's my wife's favorite game. I can't think of the.
I should know it.
Yeah, and like you can die in the first phase of the game because you draw the wrong tile and you fall in the bottomless pit and you're just out of the game. Dungeon Quest.
Yeah, I was gonna say, okay, now I got it. The one where you can die in the first turn, yeah, Dungeon Quest.
Yeah, so no, I've loved that game for the basic reason. When I introduced it to my friends, my buddy Jason, the first room he got bitten by scorpions that nearly killed him. He walked in the next room, he fell down the pit, and then he literally said, "So what, do I get a new guy?" I was like, "No, you're dead. You're out." He played it for like 5 minutes. No. So no, we were seeing, and okay, so they have this world, they have this Terranoth world, and it just seems like they just haven't developed anything for it. I mean, why haven't they made? I mean, I guess they're smarter than I am, obviously, but it just seems like, when everybody on God's green earth was making a D20 game based on the D20 open license, why did they never come out with like a Terranoth source book for Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that? I mean, it just seems like they have this world where they could be building all of these things off of it, and they just don't do anything with it. And the same thing goes with this their Twilight Imperium world that they based Rex in. Nobody cares about that world. I mean, I'm sure somebody does. I mean, I shouldn't say nobody. I'm sure there's a handful of people that know the backstory of each one of the little empires and what they have and why they're important and whatever. But for the most part, nobody gives two hoots.
Right.
It just, I don't know, and it's just so then you make this game and you base it, and you need, for that game to be fun and for it to take off, you desperately needed people to have a theme or something like for them to sink their teeth into. They would have been better off if it was possible to make a Game of Thrones version of like with Dune-esque things, and like because then people could actually would know the houses and whatever, and like you could could somehow for Rex. I mean, as it was, Rex was just kind of I played it once. I was like, this isn't that good, and then I played it, and I was like, well, I gotta play it again just in case. And I played it again, and I was like, this still isn't any good. So it's just I don't know. I ended up giving it away or selling it for $5 or something. I don't even remember what it was. So anyway, that's my little rant on Rex and what could have been, which is like annoying to me about that thing.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one that I'm going back to Dune. That's one that I really hunted down and stuff like that. Still haven't played it, but
wait. So sub-referencing, going all the way back. Have you ever like you start digging for games or start digging online for like finding a board game or something like that, and you start finding like the not big board game sites? Like you start like because the upper tier is obviously like Miniature Market, cool stuff. I'd even put like Card House in there and Time Well Spent, and then Game Surplus to some extent. Though I think Thor runs Game Surplus as kind of his fun little his fun little adventure on the side. That's what I always kind of think that Thor does with Game Surplus, because it's very personal and very
Right.
like I don't want to say small time, because I think he does very well for himself. But I mean, it doesn't
Right.
seem like it would be like Game Surplus feels like the grocery store down the block, and Cool Stuff Inc. is like the Sam's Warehouse store that you can go to. But like I found all these like little tiny like board game sellers that had these sites and that I never knew existed, and I'm just like, and like I'm looking through what they have for sale and the things that they have, and it was just, you feel so even though like I end up finding one that had Hamburgum, and I purchased it, and it was just like I definitely was like just chewing my fingernails the entire time waiting for it to show up. Just in case. It was like, oh please, I don't know if I can trust you with my money. Hand on the phone, waiting to dispute the charge if need be. Just like if whatever showed up was horrible or broken or something like that. But yeah, it's weird when you start going out there, if you will, and finding the smaller ones. Did you know that there's tons of people that sell board games on like Newegg.com?
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I went to like one of the things, like when they said that they had a copy of Shipyard or whatever. I went there and it was like because they have third-party sellers and stuff, and they have board games at Newegg. It's like I've dealt with Newegg like for pretty much all my computer components ever, and it's just like, huh.
Holy cow! I just searched Catan at Newegg.com. I was seeing all of these different. There's Catan. There's the Seafarers expansions. There's the card game.
Yeah.
Sold by Fun Again. Sold by these other guys. This and that. Huh.
Yeah. So
crazy.
Neat.
Yeah. Interesting.
So anyway, we have questions, and then
we have a discussion happening.
Oh, what's the discussion?
Parallel to our discussion. So initially, user Tragic at the Blathering asked, "What do you guys think of the growing trend to move board games to computer devices like pads, phones, etc., like that? Does it hurt the hobby, improve it?" And then he also had like a follow-up that says the entire industry is going to change to print on demand soon. I think he was saying that in response to our brilliant Kickstarter idea that we're going to have. And then he says he thinks 3D printers are going to change everything at some point. And then another guy here, Wolf Corbett, and some other folks here that I've seen post before. They are kind of going back and forth about, is it good or bad? Because Wolf's kind of saying, one point is that, okay, if 3D printing is very easy and cheap, and let's say you or I or anybody can make games and just kind of pump out crap, which is possible. We're going to have to like filter, combine Kickstarter with like easy to make 3D printing. Man, you're just going to have like, no barrier to entry at all on some senses. But, if you were to make it better for people like Fantasy Flight or somebody, I mean, they kind of have print on demand. So yeah, I think they're probably both things would happen. I think you'd have a lot of junk come out. But Victory Point Games is kind of like print on demand. They have their own in-house printers. They got a second printer. But they also have some recent news announcements that they're going to have a Kickstarter now, and they're going to have some games come out from China. So I don't know what's going on with them, but yeah, I mean they're basically print on demand, from my understanding. Is you order a game from them, they go, okay, yeah, and they whip it out, and then there it goes, and they have a lot of quality games for sure.
They have a ton of great games.
Yeah, and so I think that it'll happen. So but I agree. I think there'll be a ton of muck and junk that comes out, but I mean, there's kind of a ton of muck and junk that comes out nowadays. Really, there's a lot of good games, but there's also a fair amount of games that you're like, this shouldn't have been even made.
And I think we're a long ways off from 3D printing really being good enough to really start to like replace anything that's being made out there right now. I read some stuff early about 3D printing and some things about the quality of the 3D printing, and it's just the 3D printers that they have right now, unless you're spending a lot of money to get one,
Right.
They aren't any good. I mean, go online and read some of the people that like have purchased. They even spent like $1,000 on a 3D printer, and it's just they don't. First of all, the you have to be able to program it. It isn't like you just can take a picture of a plastic tank and tell okay, now make that. Make me 1,000 of those. You have to know what you're doing and have to be able to like put a sculpt and tell it what to do, and that in and of itself is difficult. And then you like I said, you're also dealing with the technology, and it's cool and it's interesting. And I know that there's been like people out there who said that, oh yeah, and here's this guy who was able to 3D print a gun or whatever, and it's like, okay, but I mean that's like that's not Jack down the road doing it. That's like somebody that like specifically has got the resources and whatever, and they're just trying to prove a point kind of thing. So I don't think Games Workshop or anything like that has anything to worry about somebody taking one of their orcs and then making 1,000 of them on their own and then selling them on eBay.
There was a sweet Kickstarter project. I actually backed it. Let me pull it up. That they are making like sort of like print-on-demand miniatures. Hold on, let me find it. It's in my history. Let me look here. It's going to take me a second to find it. But they actually look. Did you see this thing?
No.
Oh yeah.
I'll look it up if you tell me what it is.
Yeah, I'll find the name of it here. Customizable 3D printed tabletop miniatures. That's the name of the project. I'll actually link it in the chat for folks if they want to check it out. Comments can't contain links. Whatever. I'll put it in there later. Anyway, customizable. Here, I will paste the name in the chat, and then there we go. So you can search Kickstarter for that. And they raised $360,000, and I think for $30 you got a 30mm character, basically like customized. But you can go on, and they're building like some software. You can go and like add like gear and stuff. And there was different stretch goals that they unlocked, like certain like model types or something. Let me look at their stretch goals. At stretch goal 7, they unlocked Eastern Asian stuff, so you could do like samurai stuff. And stretch goal 8 was modern, clothing and stuff like that. So they unlocked all these extra things, and they had examples of, the stuff on there. And it looks, the examples are pretty good, so I was in for one, I'm like, hey, maybe I'll make a little avatar for myself, and I'll just, like, use that in everything. I'm like, no, this is me. This is my character.
Nice.
Or whatever. I don't know. I thought it was a cool idea, though.
Well, that is really cool, but I also wonder about the, I don't know. It's just it seems spendy for what you're getting. It's like,
oh no, undoubtedly $30 for one thing, but it's custom. But yeah, I agreed.
Good for them, man. Take an idea and run with it. Yeah. Why isn't it done yet? It was done on February 17th. You should have your miniature by now, right?
Oh no, the expectation wasn't until the end of the year. The software is not even. I was
joking. I was being that Kickstarter funder who's like, "Where's my stuff?"
Yeah, now.
It's been a week. Where is it?
Yeah. I've seen other people do, some folks are mentioning in chat, like you can get 3D buildings for Suburbia, and I've seen them for Clash of Cultures, because that game comes with those little horrible standees for the wonders, like the Great Pyramids and stuff. Yeah. But if you go dig around on the Clash of Cultures page on Board Game Geek, there is a set that you can go, a guy designed them, I can't remember the website, but the link's in there. You can go basically print out, quote unquote, all of the wonders, and I think it came to like $25 or $30 for like, I don't know, 7 different wonders that you can print out and substitute with 3D. So that's not too bad, and they look really good. They were really nice looking. I've seen pictures of folks that printed them out and got them and took pictures of them and put them on the Geek.
Very cool.
Yeah, totally cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all everybody's been talking about. There's quite a little conversation happening there.
Oh, excellent. Well, here let's rapid fire through some questions. We let's take the next 10 minutes and let's answer at least 10 questions.
Okay. Well, that's
I know you got some backup ones, so let's go.
Yeah. I'm finding the file here. Let me do that.
We're cutting you. We just lost a minute because you're slow.
Well, you didn't warn me, man. Here we go. Here it is. Okay, so some of these are going to be slightly outdated, but we'll just go through them. That way I can delete them.
That's fine. Whatever.
Oh, Study in Emerald. Have you played it? I played it. I didn't like it.
I played it, and I found myself. I need to play it again. Mm-hmm. I found myself just getting annoyed with my quote unquote teammate. Because I don't think they knew what they were doing, and they ended up actually making an incredibly poor action, like right at the end, towards the end of the game. Basically, just it was one of those things where it's like, okay, it's pretty easy to figure out. Well, first of all, okay, let's back up again here. You don't know who your teammate is. Oh no. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you don't know who your teammate is by at least a third of the way in, you don't know what you're doing. I mean,
right. Or somebody's being too clever for their own good.
Yeah, it should be painfully obvious to you who's on your side at that point. But of course the guy he's like, I didn't know he was you. I was like, oh geez, whatever. And then maybe you're just yanking my chain. I have no idea. But and this is at a convention, so I mean, it wasn't like he was like one of my friends. I could call him a dumbass or anything like that. I just had to say, oh well, good game. So I didn't like the fact that like that part was in the game where you're kind of like, I mean, it's an interesting idea. I'll fully admit that. I like the idea that like you have to rely on somebody else not to be horrible so you can have a chance to win. So I don't mind that, but yeah, I don't know. It just fell flat. I mean, and it's like, okay, I need to play it again. Well, nobody I know owns it. And I really don't want to spend $80 on a game to find out whether or not I like it.
Yeah, I gave a brief review of it in a video blog, and it's really neat. It's interesting. I like the whole thing of if you're in last and nobody on your team can win, well, like you said, you got hosed by that. But it's an interesting idea. But at the end of the day, it's like really about just taking control of those cities and stuff like that. And it's also kind of just wonky. It's something that I might play again if somebody had it. But I almost kind of think you need the vampires and the zombies in there just to kind of give a little bit of interesting balance. Otherwise, it's just, I mean, it's like some of the things you're going to do when you assassinate. Like you're blatantly the bad guys, or not the bad guys in this case. The good guys actually trying to rebel. But if you do that, you could do like a little 2-point and then just be like, okay, well, I'm going to give up those 2 points at the end of the game. I don't know. It's kind of neat, but it's almost like I wish they would have just done something different, but I have no idea what, because the game kind of works.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just not the one I really enjoy. Like, I'd rather play Battlestar, for that kind of experience.
Yeah, and we're already screwing up our one question in a minute thing, but and I'm just going to throw this out there. When was the last time Martin Wallace designed a game that was like really good? I mean, he's got tons of games. No, there's tons of games out there that are really good that he's made, and
Aeroplanes is good. I enjoy that game quite a bit.
What game?
Aeroplanes.
Aeroplanes. I didn't really like that much.
Nobody likes that game. It's good. I still have it. It's still there. There it is.
No, I'm going to throw this cat outside. I can't throw it in the snow anymore because I finally don't have any snow. But no, yeah, I don't know. I just, it's weird. It's like he hasn't had I mean, Brass was his last really awesome design, I think.
Mm.
London was really good.
London's good. I still got that. I still got London.
Yeah, I'll break out London every once in a while. I enjoy London a great deal, actually. Okay, London was his last awesome design. Yeah. But you know what? If
you played Ankh Morpork, I like that. I still have that.
I've played it. I have never opened my copy because I have the collector's edition or whatever. So theoretically, it'll be worth thousands or whatever at some point. I actually just I found a copy of a game of his called Rise of Empires that I really enjoyed. It was like a weird abstract civilization game that he had that it was from 2009, I think. I found a copy on eBay. Just I was bored and on eBay. I found a copy for buy it now in sealed for like $20 or something. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll take that. So, yeah, I don't know. Next question. Let's do this.
Heroes of Metro City, good or bad? I would
Never played.
say mediocre. Yeah. I played it once last year at Gen Con.
Oh yeah, I remember you never not having a lot of great things to say.
Yeah, it was neat. It was just kind of neat. There was some interesting mechanics and stuff, but if we're talking superhero card game, deck building game, Sentinels of the
Sentinels.
Multiverse,
Sentinels is the only game you need.
yeah, I
And
like Legendary, but
Sentinels Tactics.
oh, that looks good.
So,
Oh, I think it looks
no.
good. They demoed it for me last year. I think the rules have changed a little bit since the demo. Last year it was super like alpha. Last year.
I know of one bearded fellow that is having the only demo copy in the world sent to him after PAX East, so he can do a review of it prior to the Kickstarter being done. So yes,
Whatever.
and look out for that.
Kick, think.
Cool. Next question.
Looks good.
No, if you're gonna play a superhero game, play Sentinels and wait for Sentinels Tactics to come out.
Yeah.
Though Yellow has that one coming out that I'm intrigued by, like Guardians or something, or Guardians of the Order, or Order of Guardians, or something.
Chronicles or something.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. So I might have to revise my opinion a bit.
All right. So I got 20 minutes here, and I got to start making dinner.
All right, come on. What's for dinner? What's for dinner?
Hamburger Helper, the spicy one. My son loves it. Don't ask.
Yum.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, let's do this. Next one. Next question.
I'm curious to hear about Archipelago and City Council, which is, I don't know how I group those together. That must be what the guy asked about. Archipelago I didn't like, and City Council I haven't played.
I liked Archipelago until the secret things, I had about one bad experience with the game. It was just kind of like, and I win. I was like, what? I didn't really like that. City Council is very good. I did a Kickstarter review of that a while back. I just got my backing copy or whatever just the other day, actually, from Malad. So I really enjoy that game. I like the aspect of you can build a city, but also you're kind of dealing like negotiation and stuff like that, and it's got a lot of it's a very thematic Euro. Let's put it that way, and it's about city planning and city building and what have you. I enjoyed it a great deal. It was kind of by no means was it an urban sprawl game, but it was kind of like if I could say urban sprawl light, it had that kind of feel to it for me. Mm. But Urban Sprawl actually, I just played that like a couple weeks ago, and I enjoyed it again. And I know I'm in the minority. I know you like it, but I mean, I know I'm in the minority in that. That is very much a weird abstract city game, if you will.
Yeah.
But City Council, it's like the buildings actually matter even after you built them. So.
That's interesting.
But I would recommend City Council. I'll bet you 10-1 if you were interested in reviewing that. If you sent a request to Alad, he'd send you a copy.
Okay. All right, I'll take a closer look at it for sure.
Yeah.
We did have a question pop up in the chat, so I'm going to address that since they are kind enough.
Yeah, they're here.
Did you guys like Hegemonic? Yes. Get it.
Yes, and that I saw that was like on sale for like on a clearance sale somewhere. That depresses me. But I don't think people I think people go into that game thinking they're going to be having giant space battles instead of logistical. Instead of incredibly complex logistical decisions. So
I tell you what, I'm going to do. I'm going to do a playthrough. I've been trying the playthroughs and stuff. So. The next few weeks I've been kicking it around, but I had somebody else ask me earlier today, and I was like, okay, I should probably do this. So if you guys watch the channel or whatever, look for the next couple of weeks. I'll do a playthrough of a 2-player game because I am not playing that with more than 2 players. Because it will take, first of all, 5 hours because I'll be trying to record and do everything, and think. It's really hard to think, by the way, when you're doing a playthrough. Like, man, reviews are so much easier. I'm sorry, but reviews are way easier to do in these playthroughs.
Especially when you take the easy way out and not do all the rules like you do.
What do you mean? Oh, in the reviews?
Yeah.
Oh, give me a break. I leave out the rules that don't need to be included.
I don't. I somehow
That's
managed.
fine, and you have more subscribers to me, so there you go.
Hey, I'm like almost at 1 million views like you. I'll be cool pretty soon.
There you go. You're gonna
There
hit
you
that
go.
the big number.
There you go.
So anyway, but I'll do a playthrough. And then so if you're really like on the fence, if me naming it best strategy game of the year, which shouldn't influence anybody honestly, if that's not enough for you, man, then I'm gonna do a playthrough. Anyway, but so I will definitely do that. So good question. And then let's do. We got 15 minutes now. All right.
Come on, question.
Any thoughts on the upcoming Witcher adventure game by Ignacy Trevicic? And what do you think about the semi-co-op games where on occasion you work together but there's only one winner? I hope he can pull it off with this game. I am a fan of the Witcher video games. Not many video games do I play. Well, I've only played the first Witcher. I haven't played the second one. Have you played Witcher video games?
Yeah, I played the first one.
Okay. Yeah, that was cool. It's weird, huh? Like a different theme. You're like a mutant and...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't much care for it, honestly.
Oh.
It's just like it was interesting. I guess I get to like have sex with virtual ladies in the game.
Oh,
I guess.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, the
That was
fetch
cool.
quest stuff, ugh, that stuff. I mean, it's like, okay, am I playing World of Warcraft or an RPG? Please.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, it wasn't bad by any means. I enjoyed myself. I guess I played it through.
I enjoyed the lore and I enjoyed the different ability trees and the combat was okay. I heard the second one's better. I may try to grab the second one on a Steam sale or something.
Well, I'm sure it'll be like $1 or something if you wait long enough.
Yeah.
I think if anybody can do it, it'll be Ignacy.
Right.
He's an excellent designer. I just semi-co-ops. I'll just say this: if you are going into a game saying I'm going to make it a semi-co-op, that is probably the most difficult design choice.
Absolutely.
Because you're relying on a social contract for the people that are playing the game. You're relying on them to say. You're relying on one person who decides that there's no way I'm going to win, so nobody can win. You're relying on nobody doing that while playing the game, which is tough.
Right. Looks like we have a question here. Joel, what do you think about Splendor? Ordered on a whim. I love Biblios. Dude, I was totally thinking of Biblios when I've been playing Splendor.
Splendor's great. I'll just say that.
I own it. Played it.
Oh yeah, I own it. I
didn't realize you'd played it. Okay.
No,
cool.
no, yeah. That was like out of nowhere, Asmodee contacted me. Like after like millions of emails of sending them asking me begging for games from them and them never giving me anything. They contacted me out of nowhere and asked me if I wanted to review it. And so I said yes, please.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, it's really good. It's
light.
It's a good filler.
I'm not a big fan. I don't know. It just seems like a silly theme. But then again, Biblios has a silly theme, and I love Biblios. So So. Yeah. No, whoever ordered it on a whim, you made a good choice.
I think so.
It's if you're looking for like a half-hour, 40-minute kind of mathy game, then you'll like it a lot.
Yeah. Another follow-up question: have you each tried Dota? I think he means that. What is that called? Dota 2, like League of Legends type of games. Yes, I hate those games. I'm horrible with them. Because there's so much of a learning curve, like with
you just get blasted.
Checking out your guy and all this, to be the right balance thing, and you have to. That was the thing. I don't know if you ever played Guild Wars. It's an old MMO, the first one.
Yeah, I remember.
I had to have this build. Like, I need to have my guy with these 8 skills, with these 7 other people with these exact skills to be able to win once.
Here, I'll quickly say this. Okay, there's an MMO called Rift that just went to like free to play. You can download it for free off.
I think around with that a little bit, yeah.
Okay, and so I've got this group of guys at my work that play it all the time. They're like, "Oh, you got to play it. You got to play it. It's so awesome." There's like, you can make anything. You can make your guy be this or that. You can make a paladin that has a bow and has a pet, and you can make a rogue that is like a samurai, and then they're going on. You can just do whatever you want because each build has all these different souls available, and you just pick 3 souls that your character has, and you just add points to those souls as you gain levels. On the surface, that sounds like a great idea. Look, I'm going to make whatever I want, and I'm going to make a mage that can heal but also casts fireballs or something.
Right.
But it's just like the thing about that game, just like any other game, is that okay, yeah, you made whatever you wanted, but your design sucks, because here's the one that you need to have, because this is the one that, oh, you wanted to make a paladin? Well, then you better make him exactly like this, or else you're not going to get anywhere in the game, and nobody's going to want to party with you. Oh,
Yeah.
so I can
Ooh.
do anything I want, but I can't do anything I want.
Imagine if a board game was like that.
10 minutes. Next question.
All right. One more. There's another question in chat here. This is for you because I've already reviewed it. Have you played Star Realms?
I have.
And?
Next question.
Okay. Well, okay. If so, any thoughts?
Oh, I liked it. I think I took the same attitude you had. You kind of have to do the raid version of it.
Yeah, you got to do one of them.
That's the most fun, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely the way to go with that one.
But I mean, that if you're looking for a game you can carry with you anywhere, pay the $20 and pick up 2 packs, and then just you throw those in a deck box, and then just carry those around with you. I mean, they're mine's sitting in my desk at work right now. So.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. All right, so that's all the questions in chat.
Old questions. Oh, hey, I was going to say this. To people listening in chat right now, this is going to be like if you're actually listening and you're typing or whatever, they can argue about it. But before we're done, I was going to tell them, I'm going to put an order in at Miniature Market this evening because they have a deal. They have a thing, $5 off $50. So they had a thing, and I had some things I got to pick up for like my painting and stuff. FMTA96 is the code. If you followed them on Twitter, you got that. So if you're listening and you want to order something from Miniature Market, FMTA96, tell them the Undead Viking sent you. But anyway, that's only good till midnight tonight, though. But anyway, so I'm putting an order in. I was going to say, cool people who are listening right now, if they can argue whatever, if they can come up with a game for me to purchase that I don't already own, that they want me to review. Now's the time. They should tell me something.
Okay.
But anyway, go to old questions, and you tell me if they say anything. And stupid answers will not be responded to. Like, I'm not going to review any like in-depth military games. So you might as well just anybody who's typing in, I want you to do Combat Commander. And I was like, not going to happen.
Let me find. So we got a few minutes here. Let me find one that is not an in-depth.
It isn't. I'm not going to do a war game. That's not going to happen. So anyway, next question. Come on, questions. We got to get through these.
So all right, get through. What trend is dead in board games?
Zombies.
Yeah, you don't see any new zombies coming out.
Well, no. I mean, it's dead though because I mean, it's just like everybody's got a zombie game. I mean, you can't. I don't think anybody can come up with a new zombie game. Though Apocalypse with the ZE at the end.
Yeah.
That weird card game. That's actually pretty fun.
Huh. That Zombie 15 looks kind of neat. It's kind of like
maybe zombie isn't the right answer. War games. That trend is done.
Okay.
I would. You know what? Deck building. Honestly.
Yeah. I don't know though. I played an interesting deck builder the other day, Mr. Card Game. Have you played that?
They're sending me one, so I don't know. I'll try it eventually, I suppose.
It's not really a deck builder though. It has deck building in it, but it's not a deck builder.
Well, that's like Epic Resort. Epic Resort is that game that just got done in Kickstarter from Ben. And he sent me a copy. I did a review of it just recently. That is deck building, but it isn't really deck building.
Right.
It's like, you're buying cards that you put in a deck, but you're not like rifling through your deck and like the classic things like Dominion. That kind of deck building, that's done. I mean, in my opinion.
I think so. I agree. All right, so there's one question now in chat, and this will be the last question because I really do have to start making dinner.
Hey, did anybody tell me what to buy yet or not?
No.
Nobody cares, huh? Okay, fine. I'm not spending any money.
I think they're thinking. Well, I think you kept shooting down all their ideas.
Well, what did they start listing off war games?
No, nobody listed anything yet.
Okay, well.
Monolith. Okay, there you go. Monolith. I've heard of that.
What? What game? Monolith?
It's a new game. I can't remember what it's about. Oh, gosh. Anyway, Google that one.
If it's new, then I'll Google it. But if they don't even have it in stock, or how am I going to get that?
No, I think it's... Here, we'll look. And then I'll read you the question. So one more question. Why do you guys do it? When you first started YouTube vids, what was your motivation? You can answer to that, or I will.
Well, I had written reviews, and then I started doing unboxing videos with my written reviews, and then somebody said, "Why don't you do video reviews?" And so I just said, "Yeah, why don't I?" And then I just started doing it, I guess. I don't know. I guess ultimately the better question is, why do I do reviews? And for me, the way it started was I didn't have enough. I wanted to game more, and I was a new dad, and I had a little baby girl at home, and I couldn't go out and game with my friends, so I wanted to do gaming stuff. So the best thing I could do was I could videotape myself talking or write about gaming, and so that's why I started doing reviews.
Yeah. Lance, you're the reviewed monolith.
Yeah, I was gonna say if that's the game I'm thinking of, that game's old, and those jerks. And you know what? I'm gonna call them out.
No,
they said they're gonna.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say there's another High Frontier with the colonization expansion. I think they're just being mean.
Oh, you know what? F you. That's if I could just like do if you did a High Frontier thing, I just say High Frontier, and then I show the thing from Scanners of the guy's head exploding, and then I do my entire review. What was it? The Monolith game, and I'm not to they'll even notice, but the guys who made that, I talked to them, and they seem like nice enough guys, and they've never sent me a copy of that game. It's just like I did a Kickstarter. I was like, just send me a copy of the game when you're done. Okay, yeah, sure. And I sent them 20 emails saying, when are you going to send me this game? And I got a response once. Oh yeah, we'll get one out to you. And they just never sent me one. So they're jerks. Don't buy their game.
So yeah, the answer for me, several reasons. One, I couldn't figure out why I like certain games. I couldn't really put it to words. That's kind of the main reason. And then I saw a couple of reviews from certain folks like Mr. Mikester and Marco and Jeremy and Tom and those guys, and I liked what I was seeing. And I played a couple of games, and I don't know. It's like kind of like Lance was saying. It's kind of another outlet for me. I'm kind of one of those that I've always kind of been this way. I really like to kind of talk a thing to death. Where if we just been playing a game of Kalis years ago, I'd be like, oh, that was really cool how this happened, da 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 da. And I think people would kind of go get a little bit okay, we got it. We don't really want to hear about this anymore. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I get that. I'd shut up about it, but. This is kind of one outlet, and I really was kind of taken or whatever by certain games, and I couldn't figure out why, because it's not like you read a book or a movie or something, you're like, oh yeah, I get that. It kind of hit me because it reminded me of something of my childhood, or I really liked the explosions that I saw, or the action was really good. I mean, where in a game, I'm like, well, that's weird. I had a moment, when I played this game, spiritual or something, or emotional attachment to the thing, and I had a good time, and I was like, that's weird, because when I was a kid, I don't remember that, but I think maybe I've cultivated that, and so when I remember back, I'm like, oh yeah, I was kind of having these kind of moments when I was a kid. So anyway, it's just it's super interesting to me. So anyway, and I can't figure it out, and the videos help me if you look at my early reviews, don't, but I'm like, hey, this is neat how this works, and do this, and and I couldn't put it into words. That's why I was really trying to figure out, let me put this into words, try to figure out why I like this stuff. But anyway, there you go. Last question.
Awesome.
I don't see any others. Super Fantasy. Is that one? That's like a dungeon crawl.
It's a weird dungeon crawl game, but I mean, and I'll take a look at it. I mean, because I know Miniature Market and stuff has it and everything like that. But okay, if I was going to make a game because it doesn't have just a goofball name to it too, it's Super Fantasy and something here it is, Super Fantasy Ugly Snouts Assault.
Yeah.
Okay, why? Why name it? I mean, I'm serious. I mean, it's just okay. I mean, is it based on some anime or something that I'm unfamiliar with? Is it like a cartoon?
But okay, they do have it at Miniature Market actually.
Yeah, I do see that. Is that what they say? They want me to review that?
Yeah,
Is that
Vassal gave it a glowing review, and I was like, what? But then the
well?
way he explains it, I'm like, that looks kind of neat. But
The
I don't know.
publisher's name is Red Glove.
I think it's their first game.
That sounds dirty. Um, no, I mean it's just. But okay, you're fine, fine. You know what? You sold me. I'll buy it and I'll
Yeah.
see what it is. But I mean, what ugly snouts assault? I mean, what? Who comes up with that name? I just and this will be maybe there's something about it that I know nothing about it or something like that.
Mhm.
I have no idea. But
Mhm.
yeah. But hey,
All right.
what?
We had one question come at the end, one last question, and this will be. I already gave my answer. The answer is trains, and the question was, what game are you like super excited for an expansion to come out? Mine is trains, which we talked about earlier. What about you? And then we'll kill it.
Oh man, that's a really good question. Eldritch Horror. There you go. That
Yeah,
was easy.
I'm excited for that.
That was easier than I thought it would be. Because I just need new cards. I desperately need new
Yeah.
cards. I need new stuff for that game.
I'm
Um,
really Relic too, the PvP expansion.
oh yeah. Oh, and I just yeah, totally. I would agree with that 1,000. And then what's the? There's one. Oh, and the Clash of Cultures expansion. I'm really looking forward.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
So those are if you had to if I had to pick three that I desperately want to see, then yeah, those are the three, and probably that order too. Maybe Clash of Cultures ahead of the Relic. I don't know.
Yeah, I really want Clash of Cultures to come out.
But like Eldritch Horror, Clash of Cultures, and then that one. Yeah, that'd be the route that I go with those. So,
All right.
Joel, go cook your hamburger helper and feed your son. He loves you. He's starving.
He is. He's clawing at the door. Help.
For the 7 of you that tuned in to listen to us, thank you very much.
We reached about 25 at the peak.
Really?
Yeah.
We need to. I don't know what we need to do.
No,
Maybe
more people will come and they watch it later. I think it's just a timing thing.
Hey, we got that big podcast coming up though too, with like Rodney and who else?
Yeah, that's right. Geek Jock on Geek All Stars podcast. We'll be on that show. I'm not sure when it'll come out. Well, I think in the next couple of weeks we're going to go on.
Can I ask you, how did they even contact me? Did I agree to this at some point?
No, I gave Tammy your email.
It's just like all of a sudden I get an email. It's like thanks for wanting to be part of this. I was like, okay.
Oh, I didn't say you agreed. I just say here's his email contact.
Oh no, I was under the impression that all of a sudden, yeah, well that's fine. It'll be fun. I just like I said, I'll just need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Get the info, if you will. All right, my brother.
Okay.
Hey, just so you know, I think I'll be purchasing my Gen Con plane tickets next week. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's a definite. And then I'm supposed to bother you again about figuring out how to get to Grand Con in Michigan in September.
Me?
You?
No.
Yes.
Sorry, Brian. I know. I can't do it.
Andy Anderson said he'd put us up in his house.
I know. I can't. I got work time. That's the main thing. Vacation time.
You don't.
I need to.
Telecommute.
Yeah. While I'm playing Eldritch Horror.
Hey, well, we'll play with 8 people, so there'll be a lot of downtime.
Checking in. Oh, is it my turn?
All right, Joel. Always a pleasure, man. I can't
You
wait
too,
to
man.
see you. I can't wait to see you in August. So,
Yes, sir. We'll do this
take care
again
of
in about a
yourself.
month or so.
Yes, excellent. All right, take care, my man. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.